Hello everyone, welcome to eMaths Edge. My name is David Akwashki and I'm here to help you master mathematics and give you the edge you need to succeed in your exams. Here at eMaths Edge, I'll practically be solving mathematics past questions for senior school examinations, where I will be breaking down the whole process into simple, easy to understand steps. I actually understand that preparing for math exams can really be hectic, but believe me, understanding how to approach these questions, most especially the AC part, will ease you a whole lot of stress. And that is what this platform is designed to do for you. Each video is designed to boost your confidence and make math exam feel less like a mystery, but more like a basic thing you can conquer. So with that being said, let's get started. So here we have a wild question for 2015, question 4C, which carries a total mark of 6. And the question says, two ships are 2 meters apart. If one observes the other at an angle of 30 degrees, find the height of the observer above the sea level. Now, the first thing we need to do is to try to interpret this question, is to try to understand what this question is saying, what we were asked to obtain, and what are those available data for us to use to obtain the height of the observer above the sea level. So let's start by bringing out the two ships solution. Now let's say we have the first ship to be here, and we also have the second one to be here. Now the distance between this first one and the second one was given to be 200 meters apart from the question, right? Now, if one of these ships observes the other at an angle of 30 degrees, let's say this ship, the first one, goes above the sea level, maybe to this point, and observe the other one at an angle of 30 degrees. That's what this question is actually saying. Or possibly the second one, which is at the right hand side, goes above the sea level to this point and observe this at an angle of 30 degrees. Whichever one you use will give you the same form of angle, and that will be a right angle triangle. So now, let's say this first one goes above the sea level and observe the other one at an angle of 30 degrees. If one observes the other at an angle of 30 degrees, find the height of the observer above the sea level. So this is the observer observing the other one at an angle of 30 degrees, which we have to be this. Now what we were asked to do is to find the height of the observer, and this is the observer here. So for us to obtain the height of the observer, what they're actually saying is from this point, the starting point or the sea level, down to where it is currently observing the other one at angle 30 degrees, what is the height? That is to say, we are to find the length from this point down to this point. So let's go ahead and do away with this angle and have a clearer one to work with. So this is the horizontal line, which is the sea level, right? And we have first ship to be here, while we have the other one to be here. Mind you, the length between the two ships is 200 meters, right? Now, if the first one goes above the sea level and observe the other one at an angle of 30 degrees, we are to obtain the height of the observer, which is at this point above the sea level. So what they're actually saying is we are to obtain the length from A down to B, which we tag to be X. Mind you, 200 meters is given as the length between B and C. Now, this is a right angle triangle. Why? Because we have an angle 90 degrees here. So we were given the adjacent to be 200 meters, and we were asked to find the opposite, which we tag X. We have nothing to do with the hypotenuse. So, which of the trigonometry ratio will best solve this problem? Mind you, we have them to be so right? Where we have sine to be opposite all over hypotenuse, cos to be adjacent all over hypotenuse, and tan to be opposite all over adjacent. But mind you, we have nothing to do with hypotenuse. So the best formula to solve this problem is the tan, which have to do with opposite all over adjacent, whereas we have adjacent given and we were asked to find the opposite. So what we are going to do is to have tan theta. Let's bring out the formula first to be tan theta to be equal to opposite all over the adjacent. Where we have theta to be 30 degrees, opposite, which we don't know, and we target to be x, right? And the adjacent, which is given to be 200 meters. So, having obtained all this data, I think we've succeeded in solving this question already, because once we substitute all these data into this formula, which is tan theta equal to opposite all over adjacent, we are going to obtain a single value for x, which that is what we are looking forward to, right? So let's quickly go ahead and substitute those values into this formula. And mind you, we have tan theta to be equal to opposite all over adjacent here. And I can choose to make use of my trigonometry table by finding the value of tan theta there, which I know to be 1 all over the root of 3. And I can as well use my calculator to obtain the value of tan 30. Mind you, theta is 30, so don't get confused. Tan 30, and I know my tan 30 to be 0.5773. So I'm going to use this value instead of going to the trigonometry to obtain the value for tan 30, which I know to be 1 all over the root of 3. So let's use this single value obtained from the calculator and proceed. To be equal to, what is the opposite? Opposite we don't know, and we target to be x. So let's use it here. All over the adjacent is given to be 200 meters, right? So now let's take this to a fraction so that it will be easy for us to cross multiply. Let's cross multiply such that we are going to have 1 multiplying x to be equal to 200 multiplying 0.5773, such that we are going to have x to be 200 multiplied by 0.5773, and we are going to have that to be 115.46 meters. So that's the value of x, which is the opposite, which is the same thing as the height of the observer above the sea level, which we were asked to obtain earlier, which is equally the length from point A down to point B. So that will be all for this video. Stay tuned and engaged for the next one. Also, remember that the goal of this platform is to solve as many past questions as possible, just to help you overcome what I called maths exams tension. So if you have any challenging question from this topic you would like me to help you solve, kindly drop them at the comment section or reach out to me via email or DM, and I'll be glad to assist. Thanks for watching and have a great day.